Hey friends, I'm Leslie.
Hey guys, I'm Marianne.
And I'm Angie. Together, we are the therapists of Eden Therapy Co., and we are inviting you to have a seat at Eden's table.
Coming to you live from Miami, we believe in healing hearts, shining the light, and bridging the gap in mental health. Come sit with us as we learn, laugh, and explore how faith and mental health collide. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello.
We are back.
Are we allowed to tell the world that it's your birthday today, the day that we're recording this?
I mean, you are. It won't be the day that you're hearing this, but it is the day that we're recording this.
Yes, it's a very special day, very special morning.
I am securely planted on the 5th floor now.
That's right. The best floors there is.
The higher up we go, the better the view.
Oh, there you go.
That's good.
I'm reaching the penthouse soon, guys.
I love that.
All right. So today we wanted to talk about perfectionism.
Ooh.
I don't know. I've never struggled with that. I don't know what I would say.
Okay.
Some people be out here in the streets not telling truth. I think we've all struggled with perfectionism.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can put myself into that category. That's like a really extreme place that I don't know that I've been.
I mean, I love what you're saying because what you're talking about is that perfectionism is actually on a continuum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we can have places in our life where we feel that we need to be perfect, and then in other
sure.
places we don't, right?
Yeah.
When have you struggled with perfectionism, Marianne?
This is a little bit of a hard question. I guess because I don't know. There's obviously places where I'm like, I feel like I have to show up perfect or like my best. I'm sure in my relationship, of course, I think that's been because I get anxious about the way that I show up. So I'm sure that that has to do with perfectionism. And I think in my career, being a therapist, it's like if I'm not doing good, then it's like I'm failing.
Yeah, I think that when both of you started, there was this idea that you had to be perfect, and I was like, no, we're all here to make mistakes, learn, and grow,
Yeah.
as long as we own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's hard, especially in our field, because I feel like somebody else's like livelihood and like their mental health well-being depends on us.
Right.
It's a lot of pressure
It's like we're supposed to know what we're doing.
all the time. You need to say the best thing possible every single time.
Yeah. Which is funny. I think we should need to break that stigma.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
like
big time.
people think that we really just do have all the answers. And don't get us wrong, we have training and we make sure that we're constantly learning and studying to show up the best that we can for our clients. But the reality is that more often, like there's many sessions where I'm just like, God, I'm gonna need you to help me. Like, I don't know what to do at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, same.
Yeah.
You
At the end
know?
of the day, we're human, and I think that like our humanity also is a prime example for our clients.
Yeah.
Right. So let's define perfectionism. So perfectionism is not when we're striving for excellence, but it's when we fear rejection or failure. And it's like you mentioned anxiety, Marianne, like there's this anxiety that's continuing to run us that makes us kind of run away
Yeah.
from any pain or any feeling of uncomfort.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which is funny because I think people have it confused. Like there's a lot of perfectionists going around saying, I just have a spirit of excellence. And it's like, well, I don't know. Where do you draw the line?
but it goes back to that continuum, right? Like you can strive for perfectionism as long as it's not interfering with your life. Like you can say, okay, I want to put out the best I can, right? As long as the best you can is good enough.
Yeah.
I think perfectionism tells you it's not good enough. Go back, do it better. So you're never happy with anything that you've actually done.
Yeah. I think the first time I can think of me struggling with perfectionism actually started with like my love for school. Like I loved learning. I loved like doing homework. Like I was that child that just like I really enjoyed it. But I think it shifted gears for me when I learned that like my family valued my grades so much, and I kind of had to get straight A's versus like I strive to get straight A's because I wanted to, because I loved learning, because it proved that like, okay, you know what, like I'm learning from my classes. And then I think that then it became like a lot of pressure, and I would fear like getting a B, or I would fear like not doing good enough. And so like it became overwhelming to the point where like I think that's where perfectionism entered the room.
That's so good, because you're going straight to the root of
Yeah.
perfectionism. And the root of perfectionism a lot of times is tied to our childhood,
Yeah.
because our sense of worthiness and
Yes.
who we are all of a sudden gets tied to this achievement.
Yes.
Right. And so then it builds anxiety in us, as far as like, I have to continue to achieve at 100.
Yeah.
Because if I don't achieve at 100, then people aren't going to love me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was blessed with a learning disability, which I talk about. But it's true. I learned quickly that like we all have to be okay with making mistakes over here. You know, B is better. You know, just
C's get degrees, baby.
Yeah, I'm like hearing it. I'm like, wow, you got straight A's. Like, how long did you keep that going?
So grad school.
No.
I graduated. Guys, my biggest regret ever, which is terrible, this goes into perfectionism, is the fact that I graduated grad school with a 3.98 GPA. 1 B minus.
Oh my
Well, I'm
goodness.
sorry, B plus, not B minus.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Leslie, you're speaking my language. Because when I got to grad school was because I was so interested in the material that I was learning. It was the first time that I had a perfect 4.0
Yeah.
until a certain class.
Yes.
Where the guy gave me a freaking B.
It's always that one teacher.
3.89. I'm like,
Yes.
what?
Yes.
I was really upset. Not because of perfect, but because it was the first time that I was getting really
like,
good
I'm
grades.
so
Honestly, I'm the same way. Like, I was like straight A's. Like that happened in grad school because I liked what I was learning, and it was like I was doing great, thank God. But no, I didn't have those kind of standards for myself. Not that they're terrible; they're great. I mean, but I was not a straight A student.
We are here to cheer you on,
Yes.
Leslie. We'll cheer you on.
Thank you very much.
So we talked about the root of perfectionism a lot of times being tied to worthiness, being tied to our childhood, right? Where are some other places where perfectionism might show up?
Well, I think how Marianne said, relationships for sure.
Oh,
Especially if there's like a removal of love, right? Or if we feel like that person's gonna leave as soon as we make a mistake. I feel like definitely it'll fuel wanting to be perfect all the time.
I mean, there has to be a connection between the attachment style and features of perfectionism.
Marianne, so you were talking about perfectionism in relationships. And this is where I look at like Instagram and comparison, like, oh my gosh, they have the
Yes.
perfect relationship.
Yeah.
They go on date nights every week. They have the perfect relationship with their kids if they're married. And she does the lunches and the sandwiches and little hearts for their kids. And meanwhile, that might not be the truth of what's happening, right?
Yeah. No, and I'm even thinking about kind of the person that just doesn't complain, or not even, I don't think complain is the right word, but voice how they feel, because they need to just feel the need to just be perfect and not cause any friction in their relationship out of fear that something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
So is perfectionism tied to people pleasing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they go hand in hand. They walk together.
Yeah.
They talk together.
Besties.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting because perfectionism brings along so many friends,
Yes.
right? And it is that people pleasing is one of them. Again, it goes back to if you feel like your self-worth or your relationship hinges on somebody accepting you as your perfect version, then you don't really let yourself just be,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Which is hard to connect with a person that, because if you're just striving for perfection all the time, that means you have a wall up between who you really are and who you're projecting yourself to be. So imagine connecting with a wall. You can't.
You
No.
can't. A lot of times with perfectionism, also, we have Mr. Must and Mr. Should that like to run around in our heads.
They're so annoying.
Where have you seen Mr. Must and Mr. Should in your head?
I think for me, Mr. Should is just like the loudest one of them all. He's like shouting through the mountaintops, like, you should have done this. And if you done this, and this 1.5 happens, right? And you should have, and you should have. And then it's so overwhelming because we can't go back in time. All I can do is just like, for the future, now I know, right? So I just think it's like debilitating.
It is. I think it is. And also, it's just in your head all the time, just running and running and running. So, again, the anxiety starts fueling the should, the must, the I have to's, right? Because a lot of times with perfectionism, you also want to be the perfect daughter or the perfect, sister in law, whatever it is. And so you buy into like what this perfect role is. But my question is, what really is perfect?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like this imaginary construct that we build up in our minds of what we think is enough or good enough for somebody else. Like it's an impossible standard.
Yeah. I also feel like it comes with blame. Like I've noticed that when in the areas where I'm striving to be perfect and I feel like I fall short or there is like a consequence to something, I immediately will be quick to blame myself of like, oh, maybe I wasn't good enough or I didn't do enough or maybe I should have done more, the must and the should haves.
Right.
Yeah. And it's so far from the truth, right? Because again, like, who holds the standard of perfectionism? Because what's perfect for me might not be what's perfect for you, Marianne,
Right.
or what's perfect for you, Leslie.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, we're achieving this standard that we're never going to get to. And again, never be fulfilled.
I'm thinking like, what are kind of the beliefs that come with perfectionism? And it's like, I don't want to be a burden for somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to just not get in anybody's way, whether it is by sharing how I feel or just, I think it's just sharing how I feel, or if it's like a bad.
I think a
something
big one
bothers
is
me.
I'm not good enough. And I think the perfectionism is like trying to prove that I am enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because in that statement of I'm going to prove that I am good enough, what we believe is that we have control over a situation with perfectionism. So if I am perfect, then that means X, Y, or Z. And so perfectionism is also tied with control.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't see perfectionism in the way that it shows up. So there's classical perfectionism, which is I need to get everything straight and everything right, right? But then there's like other pieces of perfectionism, like what we were talking about. How many times have you procrastinated starting something because it's not perfect or it's not the perfect time? So I remember my mom being an artist and she painted on canvas, she painted on porcelain, and she had exhibits. Like she was really like in her trade, and everybody would say, oh, you have your mom's creativity. And I would always be like, no, no, no. And the truth is that I never developed it because I knew that she was so perfect in what she did, because she really was, that I was like, I'm never going to reach that level. So I might as well not even try. Right.
Yeah. I'm even thinking like where that kind of, in eating disorders, for example, this is a big
Huge
thing. Like it's like the driving force of it, where it's just like your body, what you look like, your body, what you look like. I mean, yourself, just as a whole, is just never good enough. And the eating disorder voice is always reminding you of that.
Yes.
So it's like you stop eating, you start doing things to try to control so much your appearance and what you look like that you're completely torn on the inside.
Well, you're actually hurting yourself in ways that could be
Permanent.
for what?
Permanent.
Permanent, right? Yeah, permanent. And so you're absolutely right. I think in our work with eating disorders, perfectionism is a topic that we have to tackle, because a lot of times, again, going back, like perfectionism can become a shield that they hide behind, right? Like all I have to do is be perfect. I have to be the perfect weight. I have to have the perfect body. I have to have the perfect look, all of it.
Yeah.
And it's just not good, because like we were just talking about, it leads to a lot of illness and a lot of sickness.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also thinking of like the clients that like are like the quote unquote perfect clients that they come and they tell you exactly what they need to say, and the session goes exactly as planned like every single time. And I feel like if you're not like quick to like acknowledge that, like you'll miss it, like you'll miss the root issue.
Yeah. Absolutely. They want to please you. So they have
Yes.
become so good at pleasing everybody in their life that now they're coming in and you're like, whoa, this client is really easy. But
Yes.
meanwhile, once you start taking down the walls, you're like, not so much. We got something behind the wall that we
Yep.
need to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, perfectionism can show up as OCD. It can show up as anxiety. It can show up as eating disorders. There's even a perfectionistic trait in trauma that you feel like you have to look perfect and not let anybody know that you've been through anything, right? I mean, there's in so many of the things that our clients come to us to work on, there is an element of perfectionism. There's even an element of perfectionism in spirituality, if you think of like,
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
no, you go.
No, that was
You went oof.
yeah.
Because you're trying to be
to the
perfect
choir.
before God, and it's
Yeah.
it's so. I think this is one conversation that I love having with people because it's this idea that you have to. It goes completely against the gospel of Christ, which is like you didn't do anything, you can't do anything to earn it because we don't deserve it. It's a gift that we have to be able to freely receive, and so I think our minds can sometimes, or the people pleasing. The people pleaser within us or the perfectionist within us is like, I have to give God my best self, which 100%, yes, this is what we strive for every day. But it's to the point where it's just, you're terrified of everything. You're terrified of making mistakes. And it's like, God made you human with all your mess, with all your mistakes. And that is the point. And it's like, there's nothing that you could do to ever reach the perfectionism that you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what you brought up earlier as far as like a spirit of excellence, like everything we do has a spirit of excellence and we want to reflect God and everything that he's given us. But the truth is that there's a difference between a spirit of excellence and rigidity and perfectionism.
Right.
Like I have to pray a certain amount of hours a day. I have to make sure that I'm listening to worship music. I have to go to church. I have to serve at every single event. And it's like, I don't think God is up there like keeping a scoreboard of how many times you serve, how many times.
Pray today. No blessing for you.
Oh, bless you.
You're out. Imagine.
That's crazy. But I'm sure that some people think that.
Yeah.
Because going back to what you were saying, Leslie, like if we are so bought into like people pleasing and we're so bought into being like the perfect Christian, then we miss the whole point, which is what you were saying.
Yeah. And I think that that's accepting grace is so difficult because there's no control in our grace. Like we can't sustain our salvation. And I think that a lot of us strive to. Like I was practicing every spiritual discipline every single day and it's like a checkbox versus we're missing the whole point of it just being given to us, of us just sitting in his presence, right? Not doing, but just receiving.
Right.
But I feel like that's so hard for us because we're so conditioned to doing and earning.
Yeah.
So if we are given a gift of grace, right? Like, what if we start asking, what do we do with perfectionism? Like, how do we help somebody who is really struggling with perfectionism?
I mean, first, just reminding them like being perfect is not possible. It's just, you're always going to be striving and you're always going to come below. Like you're never going to measure up because you're human. And I think humanity is the complete cancels out perfection, like being perfect, because it's just not possible. And it's okay. I think God is okay with that because he created you like that. So I think getting people to see that there's so much freedom in just being themselves, that their feelings are valid, and even boundaries. I'm thinking just learning to say no. You know, there's so much power in that.
Absolutely. There is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think to get there, you need compassion too, like for yourself, for your inner child, for, you know, like learning it's okay to make a mistake, that your worth isn't, you know, earned or deprived of when you make a mistake.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like your worth has been settled already.
one of the things with this topic that I think is so important, and I'm putting it here as a tool, is that ChatGPT has become all of our like best friends, right?
Honestly.
Honestly,
I love
chat is our like our content creator. Chat is our like any question you have, you can ask. But I will say this, chat gives a question that like you can ask chat a question and the answer that you get is basically compiling everything from the web. And so it becomes kind of like the quote unquote perfect answer. And I think we have to watch out. Like, I know we have to actually watch out that we don't think that everything we do and everything we say is perfect because we have this one tool that is available to us now. Because one of the things that I love is that if perfectionism is something that can spread like wildfire, because I could see something like Chad giving us quote unquote the perfect answers being something that then we strive to become.
Yes.
Jesus also consistently said, I move with compassion. So to what you were saying, Leslie, I think compassion is kind of like the antidote to perfectionism. And it too can spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that you mentioned inner child work, it's really important for us to realize like what are those roots that created this, whether it's this eating disorder that is paired with Miss Perfect or the musts and the shoulds, and be able to reframe that and help that child heal from understanding that their worthiness is not connected to achievement.
I think also just like mindfulness, like practicing mindfulness, connecting with yourself, connecting with others, with the present moment, getting out of your head, learning to get out of your head and into your present moment. I think is a big help. It's something to do. I think what is the difference for those like that are listening and they're like, oh, okay, like I think I struggle with perfectionism to a certain degree. What is the line? Like, how do we recognize, okay, when do we need some help, extra help, maybe going to therapy, talking to somebody about what they're dealing with?
Yeah, I think that when perfectionism becomes the thing that you are constantly seeking and looking for, and it doesn't help you, because there is a good side to perfectionism, which is striving for your best, but being happy when you get to the best, right?
Yeah.
And when perfectionism is something that is so rigid that that's all you think about is, and the anxiety overrides you, yeah, it's time to get some help.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So when it's basically taking over your life, it's stopping you from enjoying your day to day because you're just so zeroed in and so focused on this. Okay.
Yeah. I also think just a basic cognitive behavioral chart, which we've talked about in earlier podcasts, that we use to track when am I feeling the need to be perfect. And if I'm feeling the need to be perfect, then it means that something I have to look at, right?
Something's coming up for me.
Yeah.
Feelings, thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing to think of is, where do I trade being my authentic self for being perfect? And what comes up for you when you think of being your authentic self? Because authentic self is really the goal. It's just, this is who I am. This is my best. And I think about a little kid, right? And like when they come to you with this artwork that they did, you're never like, oh, that line is not right. You should go, you should have made the sun rounder. It's not yellow enough. Like, and learning to have that same compassion for ourselves, like, of like, no, it's okay.
Yeah. I also think of I think the more compassion you have for yourself, the more compassion you have for others.
Right.
Because our relationship with ourselves is a reflection of how we have relationship with others. So how do you respond when other people make mistakes?
Yeah.
You know?
So another question to ask yourself is your perfectionism being run by fear or by flexibility? Like, can you be flexible enough, or are you just so fearful that you have to get something done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is great.
I think it's good. Anything else, ladies, on the topic of perfectionism for today?
I don't think so.
I think this was the perfect podcast.
Okay. Well, then remember, you're already enough, and worth isn't earned, it's remembered.
Yes.
And if you want a quick resource on it, Brene Brown has a beautiful book called The Gift of Imperfection, which we love. It's a really, really good book. And it talks about how being imperfect or perfectly imperfect is great.
I love that so much.
Awesome.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see you next time.
See you soon.
So as always, if you like our podcast, please like.
Comment, subscribe
Thanks for helping me out, Mary.
to our channel.
All of the above.
All of the above. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Well, friends, thank you for tuning in. And remember, freedom is possible.
Join us next time at Eden's Table, where you can always sit with us.